The phone rang in the quiet hours before dawn, slicing through the hum of a tired city and the heavier silence of a man who had learned to carry everything alone. It wasn't just a call. It was a sound that dragged up memories of wind-sheared skies, instrument lights glowing like constellations, and a call sign that hadn't been spoken in years. In a modest apartment on the outskirts of Boise, Idaho, a single father named Michael Turner stared at the screen, heart tightening as if the past had found him again. He hadn't flown in a decade. He hadn't answered a call like this since life took a hard turn. And yet, something in him knew this moment mattered. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet heroes who keep going even when the world stops clapping, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Michael's days were built around routines that made survival look like purpose. He woke early, packed lunches with careful thrift, and walked his son Noah to school before heading to a maintenance job at a regional airport. He worked with his hands now, not the sky, fixing what others broke, learning to be invisible so the bills could be paid. The loss that had changed everything still lived in the quiet corners of his life. A marriage ended too soon by illness, a cockpit career grounded by grief and responsibility. Michael had been a decorated pilot once, known for calm decisions under pressure, but becoming a single dad meant choosing the ground over the clouds. He never complained, he just adapted. The call that morning came from a corporate number he didn't recognize, tied to a company that dominated logistics across the western states. The CEO, Jonathan Reed, had authorized an emergency outreach after a crisis threatened to halt operations during a critical storm window. Reed was a man shaped by boardrooms and deadlines, known for demanding excellence and expecting immediate solutions. His team had been scrambling for hours, failing to stabilize a cascading systems issue tied to aerial transport coordination. When someone suggested reaching out to a retired pilot, rumored to understand both old-school flying instincts and modern systems, Reed agreed out of desperation more than faith. He didn't expect the voice that answered to carry a call sign from an era he barely remembered. Michael listened more than he spoke, absorbing the problem with the same focused patience that once kept passengers safe at 30,000 feet. He mapped risks in his mind, saw patterns others missed, and remembered how to think when pressure tried to steal clarity. The call sign slipped out naturally when he explained a solution pathway, not as nostalgia but as shorthand for discipline and trust. Reed paused, struck by the steadiness in Michael's cadence, by how competence sounded when it wasn't trying to impress. This wasn't a consultant chasing a contract. This was someone who knew consequences. What Reed didn't see was Michael's kitchen table, scattered with overdue notices, school permission slips, and a half-finished model airplane Noah had been building for weeks. Michael's struggle wasn't a lack of skill, it was a lack of opportunity that fit the life he now lived. Every choice he made filtered through his son's needs, through bedtime routines and science projects, and the promise he'd made never to leave Noah wondering if he mattered. When the call ended, Michael went to work as usual, grease under his nails, the echo of turbines overhead, assuming the world would keep moving without him. By noon, everything changed. Reed called back, not with gratitude but with urgency, asking Michael to step into a temporary advisory role immediately. The storm had intensified, and Michael's approach had stabilized routes others couldn't. The request came with resources, respect, and a schedule flexible enough to honor. A school pickup at 3. Michael hesitated, not because he doubted himself, but because hope had a way of hurting when it didn't last. Still, he said yes, driven by the same instinct that once guided him through turbulence: protect what matters, then act. As the days unfolded, Michael's presence reshaped the room he entered, even remotely. He didn't raise his voice or posture for authority. He asked the right questions, admitted uncertainty when it existed, and taught younger analysts how to think rather than what to think. Reed watched metrics improve and morale follow. But more than that, he noticed how Michael logged off on time, how he refused late meetings without apology, and how he spoke about responsibility as something earned, not demanded. For a CEO used to leverage and control, this was unfamiliar and disarming. At home, Noah noticed the change first. His father smiled more, slept better, and explained problems with the patience of a teacher who wanted his student to succeed. They finished the model airplane together, painting it in quiet concentration, the kind that heals. Michael never told his son about call signs or past glory. He told him about choices, about doing right even when no one is watching. The apartment felt warmer, not because money had arrived, but because dignity had. Reed eventually invited Michael to headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah, offering a permanent role that blended leadership with humanity. The offer wasn't framed as a rescue but as recognition. Reed admitted his surprise openly, acknowledging that he had expected a polished executive, and instead found a grounded father whose calm saved millions and reminded everyone why systems exist in the first place. Michael accepted on one condition: flexibility to remain present in his son's life. The agreement came easily, as if Reed had learned something he'd forgotten long ago. Before we reach the ending, please pause for a moment and comment below where you're watching from and what part of this story reflects your own journey. Your words matter more than you know. The first day Michael walked into the office, he carried himself the same way he did through the airport hangar. Steady, observant, unafraid. He didn't wear his past like a badge or hide it like a secret. He simply worked. When a junior employee froze under pressure, Michael didn't criticize, he coached. When a plan failed, he owned the outcome without blaming. Slowly, the culture shifted. Performance rose, but so did trust. Reed found himself less interested in quarterly applause and more invested in sustainable leadership. Near the end of the year, during a company-wide address, Reed told a story without names about a call answered by a man who chose responsibility over recognition and still found his way back to purpose. He spoke about call signs as promises we make to ourselves, about how some people never stop being who they were meant to be. They just wait for the right moment to serve again. Michael listened from the back, thinking about Noah's next science fair, about the plane they might build together next. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that quiet resilience can change everything, please like, share, and engage with this video. Your support tells the algorithm, and the world, that stories of kindness and second chances deserve to be heard. Michael never returned to the cockpit, but he didn't need to. His legacy wasn't altitude, it was impact. He showed a powerful CEO that leadership begins with listening, and he showed a young boy that strength can be gentle and still move mountains. In answering a call with a forgotten call sign, Michael didn't reclaim his past. He redefined his future. And somewhere between the hum of servers and the laughter of a child at the kitchen table, a life found its rightful balance again.